It's live.
Okay. We're going to be waiting until a few people chime in, so we're going to give it a few minutes. We're a little early to log in, but we're going to see if things come up live here on Facebook page. I cannot see, I'm blind. Hey, we're live. There we go. Hi guys, there's a little bit of a lag.
Someone said Europe.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a couple of minute, 20-second lag, which we're gonna have to adjust to as we get going.
I see you here, Heath. Someone said that.
Okay, anybody on the screen there?
Yeah, I told you.
Who?
Amanda McKnight.
Amanda's on? Hi Amanda. I'm watching myself live, which is a little bit of a lag onto my TV. We'll get going here in a second, and my son Shane here will kick us off with 22 push-ups in honor of our veterans who take their lives each and every day.
Try not to look at the lag difference.
I'm not looking at the TV. I'm looking at Shane.
I know, but they said try not to look at it.
I'm not looking at it at all. Anyone else on TV, Shane? Just me and you and Amanda?
Yep. There's 4 people, but no one else is talking.
Okay. As long as there's a few more people on there, just throw any names up so we can do a shout out.
No, it's only though. Could try.
Yeah, let's see. I've got the 14-year-old technology wizard here, Shane Wassem, operating the camera.
No, it doesn't work. Can't figure out.
Can't figure out who the people's names are going across the screen. Okay. And I can't see it on the TV either, so we'll figure it out as we go, and we'll go from here. But time is it, Shane? To 3 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
It's only 3 o'clock. We're going to give everyone 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to get going here before we to log on before we get going more in depth.
Kelly said, "What's up?"
What's up, Kel? We got Kelly and Amanda, the Met PGA crew, on the phone.
They said, "Shane, you got this."
Shane, we hopefully got this. If you can tell me who else is online, we can do some shout-outs. We can get some real-time questions as far as different things that we can talk about with the golf swing.
It doesn't. Let me see. The viewers.
Doesn't let you see the viewers, Shane?
Mm-mm.
All right. Maybe Amanda and Kelly can help us out by letting us know who's online via text or live chat there with Shane. So about 3:02, 3:03, we'll get going and we'll do a couple shout outs and kind of talk about our sponsors and the different things that we need to cover here for our veterans and out there in the Westchester, Rockland County area, that in my immediate area, as well as the Long Island crew, city crew, and the new crew in Connecticut.
Anthony's watching and Edward Ruse is watching.
Eddie is on. Hey Eddie, big shout out. How are you, buddy? I know Nick Iacona was going to jump in today. Hopefully we say a shout out to Nick Wolf. Met Poly PGA, Polyglut. Like to see some of our PGA pros jumping in.
Kate said, "Hey Heath." I think that's how you say it.
My fellow Ginger, Caitlin's on. All right, we're going to flip it around and we're going to start off. First and foremost, I want to give a nice shout out to JP last week, hosting the first Facebook Live episode, as well as on the Met PGA Hope Hangouts Sunday nights, 7:30 via Zoom. We know John Sweeney was unable to log in, so somebody reach out to Sweeney, get him up to speed on how to do this technology stuff.
Ron Middleton said, "Hey guys, Ron Middleton on Long Island. John D is watching, James is watching, and
Nice.
James says Heath."
Hello, everybody. So what's going on? All right, we're going to turn around. We're going to watch Shane crank out 22 push-ups because he can do a lot better than I can. In honor of all of our fellow veterans, we're going to count them out. 2 that take their lives, unfortunately, every day. This is a big shout out to them. We're going to do a buddy check here soon as well. Get it, Shane. Come on. James is saying get it. Crank them out. You're getting weak. He's done 100 at one time in one session when he was at Tiger Showman. Good work, my man. All right. We've got 13 people online. Let's see if we can't get that double here, hopefully within the next couple of minutes. We're going to be talking golf. We're going to be talking Met PGA Hope. Big JP hosting last week. We did a big shout out to him. We're going to talk about our buddy check. I threw one online yesterday. Everyone checking in, making sure that we're looking out for everyone else who's home alone, lack of interaction, this lack of getting out of the house. Yesterday I ventured off to the grocery store and actually got to see other people other than my immediate family. We've been doing a good job of getting out for walks with the dogs other than the rain over the weekend, taking them over to Quechuan trails and letting them run a little bit, getting out with Mother Nature. I was able to post a nice picture on Instagram and Facebook of the beautiful Westchester sunset with the sun going through the trees. Just kind of a nice break from all the other stuff going on. So just reaching out to our guys, making sure that everyone's following a good routine, getting up at the same time every day, doing a little bit of exercise. We'll do a few golf exercises here in a few seconds to get loosened up. But I want to say thank you to Shane for cranking out those 22 push-ups real quick. It's been amazing. I was going through a little bit of research to get ready for today. Going back, this is 2020, back to the initial phase 1 up at West Point. I think we had about 20 veterans that we started with, 2015. The clinics, the PGA professionals that all started that off. And it's been a great run since. Now we've got 600 plus men and women that have graduated the program, and we're looking for more help. And thank you, Callaway, for all their help with the sets of golf clubs that each veteran gets at the end of each 6-week session. For my people out there who are not in the Met PGA Hope program, that's a 6-week program teaching guys and gals how to play golf. And then at the end of that, we have a nice farewell banquet and a nice set of golf clubs given out to them via the support from Callaway Golf. Okay, now let's get into some golf stuff. So we're now in my basement, which has become Zoom Central. Those of you on our Zoom hangout the other day got to experience our Zoom Met PGA hangout. I've got a 5 o'clock Golf Genius North American Sales Team 5 o'clock happy hour at 5 o'clock on Zoom today. So it's just kind of our way to stay connected in this technology day and age, which has been definitely interesting to have everyone stuck in the houses, and we'll be here for a little bit longer. So trying to stay as active as we can. So now our basement has been converted into, Shane, show everyone the TV and the computer setup. That's Zoom Central there. I get to watch myself with a little delay. Slowly, Shane. Everyone's going to get seasick. The Navy guys will be okay, but the Army Air Force guys can't handle that. So we got to go slow and let the stomachs settle in. But we've got our golf area here set up, and we've got a couple of different things. So we're going to start off with a couple of different little stretches that I like to do. Everyone in their house, their apartment, we have a nice little wall here. If we just take our arm at a 90-degree angle, and we can do internal and external shoulder rotations. We're going to do internal. I'm just going to take my body weight and turn, and I'm going to feel that stretch across the front of the shoulder. Now I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to hold on to the door, and I'm going to go external. And we're going to do a couple reps on both of those. I'm going to do my other side, external. And now we're going to do internal. And what's that going to help us do? That's going to help us make a bigger shoulder rotation in the backswing, and definitely allow our arms to swing across our chest in the downswing so that we can create as much speed through the golf ball as we can. We've learned we're not trying to rotate our body as fast as we can, but we definitely want to get our arms swinging faster. If we're big and bulky and we can't move, we don't have flexibility in the shoulder area, that's going to definitely slow us down. All right, Shane, I'm going to spin around. I'm going to sit in the chair. So everyone can do this in their Barca lounger, or they can do this in the kitchen. You're going to sit down and you're going to get really vertical with your spine so we keep everything nice and lined. And we're going to rotate. We're going to use the chair. We're going to rotate to the right. And we're going to hold. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to go a little more. And we're going to repeat that. We're going to go in both directions. We're going to stretch. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to let out. Go a little bit more. All right? So we're going to keep working on those. And we'll switch back. Shane, you can sit down. I'm going to let Shane sit back down in his chair. He's learning how to slow down here since only the Navy guys can handle the ups and downs of the waves. We're going to readjust our putting. But those chair stretches, as everyone's on their computer, they're sitting and watching TV, those are just things that you can constantly do as you're going throughout the day. Just keep loose. Some just nice stretches too. I'm going to take my golf club and I'm just going to hang. What I don't want people to do is bounce to try and create an extra stretch that basically could create a torn muscle. So just long, slow stretches. I'm definitely out of shape. I can normally have my fingers touch the floor pretty easy, but I'm definitely a little bit in winter form here. So we're going to start working on losing the 10 pounds, getting out with the dogs and getting more active, and keeping nice and busy. Got any messages on there, Shane, from anybody asking any questions yet?
No.
Okay. All right, so we got a couple of different little things that everyone could probably have in their home and or go get for free from the post office. Here's our red, white, and blue. Our United States Postal Service guys who, rain nor shine nor COVID, are delivering the mail every day. But we can go to the post office and you can get one of these little cardboard shipping containers. And I just have a basic tennis ball here, and I'm going to hit some little chip shots, which is not going to hurt the walls of my house. It's just going to be a nice little practice area. I can work on my setup. I can work on moving my weight into my left side. And just very easily, without hitting the ceiling, I can hit some nice easy shots. And I can just stay active. I don't need a net. I don't need to spend a lot of money. I can just go to Target and grab a tube of tennis balls. I've got my golf clubs here at home, and just work on some nice solid contact. Hopefully work on a little bit of backspin.
Someone asked, what's the best stretching technique for veterans dealing with back issues?
Great question. That's one thing that we've seen through the whole program, is that every vet has limitations, strengths, certain things that we can and can't do. So working with your local VAs, your PT people, as to what you can and cannot do physically is really good to bounce that off the experts. So I am definitely not a trainer, and I'm definitely not a physical therapist, but the basics of what we just showed, sitting in the chair, it's low impact, it's a nice gentle stretch. I'm going to use this little bench here real quick, emulating this as a chair, so I can put my legs out, I can try and touch my toes, keeping my back as straight as possible, and this is going to work my hamstrings, it's going to work the back of my calves. I can do each of those, very, very low impact. So to answer that question is going to be very difficult based upon what each and every person can and can't do physically, whether or not thoracic spine, the center of your spine, you've had a spinal fusion, coming back from your service from overseas, and you've had some injuries, what our balance is like. There's a lot of soldiers that we've dealt with that have come back, and balance is an issue. So those are some good things that we can work on at home now over the winter time too. And once again, I'm not a trainer, but I'm gonna use this pole to hold on to, and I want to go up on one leg, and I want to balance, and I want my foot to wobble and wiggle as much as possible, and I'm gonna flip both sides, but I want to work on my center line, staying as perfectly as I can, and staying in balance.
Mom says you need to join some of Mom's stretch and strength classes.
Well, my wife is a dance instructor and teaches a class that maybe if some of the people online reach out, we can get them to jump in on her Zoom class for strength and stretching. And you can jump in and learn a few things that my kids as dancers do. As you can tell with Shane and his gear and in my gear, Roll Tide, University of Alabama. My daughter is now in her process of e-learning, finishing up her sophomore year at the University of Alabama, and my kids here in Bedford area, Fox Lane, are doing e-learning from home. So we're all learning how to adjust to this new reality that we're dealing with right now.
James says, would you recommend proper stretching before going out to play and also using this time to start a daily routine?
Definitely, James. I would recommend stretching before you play, during you play, do your play, whether that be range time or an actual round of golf, and especially after. So we want the muscles to get a nice, good recovery. And if you do it before, during, and after, we're going to start to educate those muscles to start getting a little bit longer. They're going to start to create a memory that they can be a little bit longer, and it's going to make it easier the next time that you come out and play. And preferably the next morning afterwards, we're not going to be as sore. So big thing too, fluids, drinking as much water as possible, limiting the caffeine, but water intake is good. My wife is trying to get me to drink decaf iced tea, which is a little tough. Tastes the same, but just enjoy my iced tea. So we have to come up with more fluids as we can during this break, as we're inside. The humidity is very low in our homes. The heating is on. We're not opening up the windows, and things are getting very, very dry.
Matthew asks, my IT bands get incredibly tight. What stretch do you recommend for loosening those up?
IT bands are the most painful things to loosen up. So I'm going to recommend foam roller, whether you use a smooth foam roller or a perforated foam roller. Shane, do we have any of those down here in the basement?
Probably. I think over there.
One quick second.
To your left. I think maybe there.
Alright, I don't see any foam rollers, but this is definitely Dance Central. But the foam rollers, if you lay a foam half roll on the floor and or a solid one, and you can work up and down that IT and use your body weight to find those trigger points, you're going to lean into it and you're going to know exactly when you find one of those trigger points. So that's the only really good way, and if it's the sweetest hurt ever, it will make you cry when you lean on it and you can get deep into those trigger points. Once again, in the morning, maybe midday, this time of year where we're stuck inside, and then after a round of golf, a good way to stretch is using that foam roller for the IT band. So great question, really, really, really good.
Anthony asks, do you recommend 16-ounce curls after a round?
After a round?
Yes.
All right, now I'm out of my realm. So I'm a golf pro, not a trainer. So curls, 16-ounce curls as far as the Coors Light go are never a bad thing in good company. But social distancing must be kept at all times. And I do believe if I hit my notes here, Kelly can confirm this, all activities with Metropolitan PGA Hope. Oh, how about that, folks? Out of nowhere, we got a foam roller. So we'll do that here in a second. But just to let our veterans know that all PGA Hope programs have been suspended through May 10th. So we had on our PGA Hope hangout on Sunday night, one of the gentlemen has been playing golf at one of the county courses that's been open on Long Island. Social distancing being practiced, we hope. But formal activities with the HOPE program are currently on hiatus until the VA and the government gives us the go-ahead to greenlight those again, and everyone can safely be within proximate distance to each other without virus.
James asked, can you explain the importance of incorporating your golf swing so you can sequence, especially while you're unable to do outdoors? Sorry.
Working on your swing sequence, correct, James? So I'm going to take my putter, and we're going to come over here to the Constitution. All of us, hoorah, us veterans, and I'm an Air Force brat, did not serve myself, but I grew up 20 years with my father in the military, so definitely understand the sacrifices that family make, as well as our true veterans who are true heroes. Back to the beginning of this great country, so we're not going to harm them in any way. But sequencing, I'm going to put my butt against the wall. Now, we did a stretch and we did a balance drill a second ago about trying to keep our center. So in a golf swing, there's different things. A great friend of mine, I want you to look him up on Facebook, James Hong. He did a great Facebook Live lesson as far as weight shift versus weight, I'm going to use the wrong terminology here, but basically a lot of people sway to shift their weight. What we want to do is we want to be able to change our weight but keep our center basically in the same place without becoming very unstable in our golf swing. So with a lot of veterans who either have half a leg or balance issues or different things like that, we're going to try to keep them very centered, and we're going to work on our golf swing with our hands, and we're going to supinate, and then we're going to pronate, and then depending on each person's individual abilities, we're going to work on making that pronation and supination a little bit bigger with a little bit of shoulder turn and a little bit of that weight shift or change a little bit into the right, but not the sway. So we're keeping everything very centered as we move that weight right and left, blending that. Now I'm going to actually have the club touch the wall. Now I want to keep this club head on the wall as long as I can while I start my swing down, my downswing. So you can see my weight make that shift into the left side. The club stays on the wall. As most people tend to start their swing down with their hands, we use the generic term over the top. They start their swing down with their hands and they hit this big, huge banana ball, slice ball. Hopefully nobody in the crowd fights that constant battle of the slice. But now as I drop that club in or down, depending on the terminology, many of the magazines call dropping this into the slot. So what is the slot? So if we have an imaginary line, Ben Hogan had a great picture of a big pane of glass, and that slot is where the backswing goes up and then the backswing comes down. There's a little window here. We want that golf club to come down in that slot and not over the top of that slot. If we come over the top, we're going to definitely start the ball to the left, create a big slice, and lose a lot of distance. The more we drop into the slot, we can create the beautiful high draw.
Milton Davis asked, unrelated to physical exercises, more about mental issue. Pre-round, I am able to chip very well. However, on the course, first easy chip, I find myself blatting it over the green. I assume it's a stress issue. Any ideas of how to combat that?
Good friend Milton Davis down in the nice warm areas of Florida asked a great question about mental side of golf, and I definitely can testify to this greatly over the last year. I've gone through a little bit of what I would call chipping yips. Chipping yips, I think, are definitely more of a mental than a physical issue, and it's more that you are focused on the outcome. You're worried about where the ball is going to go. A, am I going to look silly? B, is the result going to be good? Is the result going to be bad? Instead of just thinking about making a nice smooth motion. And the benefit of my United States Postal Service priority mail box here is we can take some nice practice swings and just literally glide the club across the box. if I have to go chase the box and it goes flying across the room, then I know that my hands have done some involuntary things, and I'm going to probably either catch the ball in the upswing, and I'm going to create that bladed shot that Milton was referring to, or if I can keep my hands nice and calm, relaxed, thinking nice peaceful thoughts of the beach in warm weather. My West Palm Beach days, miss those nice warm days down in West Palm. But as I practice, I just want the golf club to make that nice, I don't know if you can hear that via the phone, but it's just a nice, soft scraping motion across the cardboard. If I use my tile floor here, and you can hear that loud sound, that's obviously my hands getting a little bit too involved. So we're just trying to basically take the golf club back, what we want to call very level to the ground, and have a nice sweeping motion. So it's not a very up and down motion, it's more of a putting type motion. Now depending on how far we want the ball to roll and how thick the grass is where the ball is, the deeper the grass, the ball is sitting down, we're going to use a lofted club, a 60 degree or a wedge. If it's on a nice fairway cut or the first cut fringe, we can use a 7 iron, 8 iron, 9 iron, and the ball will basically launch very low and then roll like a putt. And we'll roll a long ways with very little effort. Or if we have a very lofted club and we hit that same shot, the ball is going to go very high in the air. It's going to land with less forward momentum, and the ball will not roll out as much. So we can get that ball to stop more quickly. But to get back to Milton's first question it's what's the biggest cause? I think it's the expectation of the result. So the more that we can get back practice-wise, brushing the ground, getting over the shot, once again, in our mind, trying to keep our chest really tall and just brush the ground, we're going to increase the likelihood of hitting a better shot and not blading one across the back of the green.
Kelly asks, what part of the game do you think is the best for our veterans?
What is the best part of our games for our veterans to work on?
While they're stuck inside.
So I like the tennis ball for inside. I can work on some little chip shots. I only have about 8 feet of space here, so I can just work on some nice little swings. I'm not breaking anything in the house. I'm not hitting the furniture. I'm not hitting the walls. But I think the most important thing that we can work on is we can work on our putting, because I think it's the most under-practiced part of the game, whether it be for our veterans or any other students that I've worked with. Very few times did I have people ask me to go for a putting lesson. Most of the time it was I took them and said, okay, we're going to go work on your putting. Especially as we talked about their scores and they were trying to break 90 or break 100, and they told me that they had 36 to 40 putts. Well, if we can save 2 putts per round, we're going to get you closer to those goals. So I have 2 clubs. The best uses of a 4 and 5 iron for most people are not to play golf with, but to use as alignment guides. So my alignment guides are down on the ground, and I've created a nice little parallel channel that should be approximately the width of the cup. And I'm going to put my putter down, and you can see that the heel and the toe of the putter just have enough room to go back and through. Now I can work without a golf ball. I don't even need to roll the ball. I can just practice my stroke without hitting the shafts on the ground as much as possible. So if I can go back and through and hold my finish with the putter face at, you'll see, at a 90-degree angle to the shafts on the ground, then I know my putter is very square to where I want the ball to go. So Shane is exactly on my target line. The camera's on my target line. And if I hold that finish, the putter face should be very square to you on camera. If it twists and is now pointed left, that's where the ball is going to go. If it twists and points to the right, that's where the ball is going to go. And even with a very funky stroke, kind of cutting across it, I can still hit it straight because the putter face was very square. So 94 to 96% of where a ball goes is based upon the face angle. If the face is left, the ball will go left. If the face is right, the ball will go right. And more importantly, if it's perfectly square, it goes right to you in the camera. So that's the Callaway Trubus right there, coming at you right into the screen. One of my favorite golf balls, the Chrome Soft. My boy Michael Breed was on the other day, and he'll be representing a different company, which we won't mention here, but that's just a shout out to Mr. Breed. Any other questions on there?
Anthony says, I like the setup on the deck. Can you give us any insight as how to recognize grain? Yeah, grain on the green. Its effect on a putt. That's from Matt.
Matt, good question. We are in the Northeast, so grain is much less of a factor. I don't have carpet down here in my basement, but one thing that you'll see when you go into an office building or you go into a hospital space with carpet, you'll see how the carpet gets worn out going in one direction. So when traffic goes the same direction over and over again, it causes the carpet fiber, which stands straight up, to begin to lay down. So that laying down of the fiber or blade of grass is what we call grain. So in nature and on a golf course, grain is caused by, in the Northeast, by primarily one feature, and that's water. So wherever water will flow will create grain. Now in Florida and a little bit out west, there's a grass called Bermuda. Bermuda is more of a what we call a creeping grass. It actually grows across the surface of the ground, where bent grass up here in the north grows up. So it actually has a vertical stalk, and that water, wherever there's a slope, that grass will then lay over, and that grain will be going in the direction which gravity will take the water off of the green. Now, a great question is, how do we read that? It's two things that I look at. I can take a look at the cup. So the cup, the way it is cut into the ground, during the day, if it's fresh in the morning, then we're not going to be able to use this technique. But if it's a day old or in the afternoon, the cup is a circle, and as grass lays over and a blade of grass lays this way, and we cut off that blade of grass, the root is still in the ground. So that is the direction that the grass is growing. On the bottom side of the cup, the root is actually being cut off right here, and the grass blade is now weak. So it starts to fall out. And you'll see on the down grain side, the direction the grain is running, that side of the cup will start to get dirt-like, and dirt will show, and the grass will start to wear out. So you'll have beautiful grass on the up grain side and worn out dirt on the down grain side. Another way is to look and use the sun. So when you look at the grass and you see the dark grass is very dark, and you're looking at it from a down grain side, you're actually looking, you're looking into the blade of grass. It's not reflecting light. Let's reverse that process. So down grain, you're looking at the back of the piece of grass, and that is now reflecting light to the sky, so it looks very shiny. So whenever you see a shiny surface, it's down grain. It's going to be a lot faster. When it's very dark surface, it's going to be into the grain. It's going to be much slower. So whenever you watch golf on TV, and right now on Golf Channel, you get to see a lot of rebroadcasts of, say, the TPC Players Championship down in Sawgrass. You can actually see the different sections of the green as undulations create runoff, and the setting sun, you'll see dark and light sections on the green. It's not because it's different types of grass, it's because of the direction the grass is growing, and it's reflecting light differently. So great question, and that's a great way to really learn how to become a very good putter and learning how to control your speed, because putts into the grain are going to be very slow. You're going to have to hit the strike them a little firmer, down grain a little softer, and then that gets to a whole new discussion of what type of speed should we use when we're putting on the greens.
Anthony says, how can I get a swing like Adam Scott or Lewis? I don't know how to say his last name.
Who, like Adam Scott?
Yeah, Adam Scott.
And or let's take a look at the screen chain.
I don't know how to say that last one, maybe.
I can't read, so I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see it. But
It's
Adam,
like 09. I don't know how to say it.
oh, a thobble?
I don't know.
All right, let's go in here and look. Let's take a quick second. Adam Scott or Louis Oosthuizen. Here you go. Well, that's two great questions and two very different golf swings based upon their body types. So you got Adam Scott, who's taller. I'm about 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. Or when I fudge the playbook, I'm 5'11". But Adam Scott's 6'1", long, lean, nice, good shape. He has a beautiful flowing swing. Louis Oosthuizen definitely a little shorter, a little quicker. Tempo's going to change. Swing's going to look a lot different. Fundamentals are the same, meaning that the club face is very square at impact, but both of their golf swings are dictated upon their body types and how their bodies can move, and they use those differences to the best of their ability, and then they're really good at different things. Adam's a great ball striker, especially with the driver. Louis is a great iron striker, and they have definitely played the world very well with their different skill sets. So, got to base that answer on their different body types. Both have had great coaching as well.
Ron said a joke. Did you know newborn babies today are considered coronals? In 13 years, they will be...
Coronals?
Yeah. In 13 years, they will be teenagers called quarantines.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's some corny jokes. Now, I don't know which branch of the service that guy came from, but those are pretty lame, but pretty funny. So I gotta give him a shout out for those. Coronas. The teenagers. So, or Coronas with a lime, so that's a really bad part of the disease. I apologize, that's my little dog out in the back. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Shane, what time do we got?
How much we have been going for?
What time is it?
It's 10:35.
All right. How many more questions are we going to? We'll keep going. As long as we got questions, we'll keep on going.
No more questions.
No more questions? All right. Not sure on the side of the screen there, but I know on JP, I want to give a huge shout out. I don't know if he's on today, but for hosting the first live Facebook broadcast last week. He did a fantastic job. Once again, let's reach out. Let's do our buddy check. Each and every one of us in the Hope program who has a friend out there with a phone number or an email, let's reach out and make sure that everyone's doing well. We'll have the phone number on the Hope website for the crisis hotline. If any of our vets out there are having some difficulties and they need somebody to talk to, that number is always out there and available on our website, MetPGA Hope, on our Facebook page, as well as on the MetPGA website, the Hope page there as well. Kel, Caitlin, Amanda, if you guys are on there, is there anything else out there that we need to highlight before we start to wrap things up and sign off?
Actually, James asked a question. Said, what would recommend pre-round to help with mental focus?
Mental focus. Another great question, James. Two things. Let's take it in two different texts. Let's say we're going to play a casual round of golf, or with our buddies, or we're going to play a tournament round of golf. James is now in the process of becoming a full PGA golf professional, PGA member, and has cranked out his downtime this year to do a couple different certifications. So props to James and his hard work this winter and getting those certifications. So super thumbs up, James. He's going to start playing in some competitions. He's going to have his playability test, and it's a different mindset. But first and foremost is rest. Coming into a round of golf well rested, the brain can function much better. The body can function much better. Less stress. Getting to the golf course, listening to some great music. My go-to would be country. Shane, what would your go-to music be?
I don't know.
Something that's going to relax or pump you up. What's going to be your walk-up music? Is it going to be rock and roll? Is it going to get you stoked to go out and play the best round of your life? So different things there. Getting mentally prepped. some tour players have said they've had their worst warm-ups ever in going out and shot the course record. So there's no rhyme, no reason to good days and bad days. And Shane, kind of got off track. What's James's question again?
What would recommend pre-round to help with your mental focus?
Pre-round mental focus, no caffeine. So let's go to the physical aspect of it as opposed to the emotional. Zero caffeine during the round. Also, little morsels to eat during the round, whether it be peanuts, bananas. Stay away from the hot dogs and the 16-ounce curls that someone else brought up earlier. Those definitely, if I want to play my optimal golf, I'm going to stay away from. If I'm just going to go hang out with the boys and have a great time, guys, gals, etc., then a few of those 16-ounce curls, no big deal. Just go out and have a very relaxing day and enjoy the game for what it is. But to perform at peak level, stay away from the caffeine and go in there well rested.
Nick says, what is your favorite golf drill?
Your favorite golf joke?
Drill.
Golf drill. For me, is putting. I'm not the greatest ball striker in the world, but I can save a score by putting. So my favorite drill is the 90-degree drill. So a 90-degree drill is if my golf ball were the hole. I'm going to go 90 degrees out, to the right, to the front, to the left, and to the back. And I'm going to go 3 feet at each corner of the 90-degree angle. I'm going to go 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, progressively. And I'm going to try to make 3 putts from each distance all the way around for as long as I can go. So those are the putts that will save a good round of golf for me. If I can hit 8, 9, 10 greens and get up and down 7 or 8 times, I can shoot under par. If I only get up and down 1 or 2 times, I'm going to make some bogeys. So those putts, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think there's a great book out there, Strokes Gained, indicating that from 8 feet and in is where the best players in the world, PGA Tour players, make only 50% of their putts, but at 3 feet they make 96+% of their putts, or maybe even 99%. That's where I'm going to make my money off of all the guys I'm playing with. I'm going to win that $2 Nassau off the front and the back and take their money every time and go buy some Coors Lights at the end of the round. Good question, Nikki. Nick Iacono, we're going to miss you up in the Met section. He's moving back down to Philly. So shout out, Nikki. Best of luck down there.
Kelly says to remind everyone, Hope Hangout 7:30 on Sunday night.
Well, you just did, Shane. You did a good job reading that off. So as Kelly and Shane have said, 7:30 every Sunday night. We were on last Sunday. It's a Zoom hangout, so I don't know if everyone knows Zoom. ZOOM is a internet-based technology that is free. You can download it onto your computer or your phone. You can connect via phone, audio, and video, or on your computer with video and audio, and we can have a nice chat. You'll see a bunch of different dots on your screen with everybody that's on the call. And everyone gets a chance to, unless Kelly puts the magic button on and mutes your speaker phone, which she does to me all the time. But that way, everyone can have a nice conversation, check in with each other, and make sure everyone is doing well. So in these trying times when everyone gets stuck in their houses for extended periods of time, this is a great way using technology to stay connected, say hello. The buddy hotline is very important, as you see on Facebook and different tools. Everyone checking in and making sure that everyone is doing okay and has someone to talk to for at least a little bit during the week.
No more questions.
No more questions?
I don't see any.
All right. Shani, what time is it? Is it about 3:40?
3:40.
42. All right. So we talked about a bunch of different golf tips, some basic exercises for golfers and veterans of all different physical capabilities. If anyone has any questions about specific stuff or wants to send me swing videos, you can reach out to me via Facebook on Heath Wassem Golf Professional, and or reach out through PGA Hope. There's myself and a bunch of other golf professionals that are more than willing to take the time to answer any golf-related questions that you may have, whether it be about your swing or your favorite golf courses, your favorite golf pros, or if you just want to chat a little bit and catch up on what's going on while we have this little bit of downtime. So other than that, we'll sign off for the second version of PGA Hope, Met PGA Hope Live, coming at you from Mount Kisco, New York, and videography by Shane, aka Diesel Wassem. Thanks, guys.